All right, here's a guy I enjoy talking to. He always gives great information. It is your disability rep, Roy Rickster. Good to see you, Roy.
Good to see you too, Tom.
All right. I know people come in here all the time and they must have questions galore. What are the things that they tend to ask the most, however?
Yeah, top 5 questions that we get asked all the time.
Okay.
First of all is whether or not we want to file for Social Security Disability or SSI or
Okay.
both. And so a lot of it depends on our work history. The disability program is kind of like any other insurance. You work, you pay in, that makes your premium payments.
Right.
When you stop working, your premiums are no longer paid and your insurance lapses. So that's what decides this for a lot of people. So when we're talking about Social Security Disability, you had to have worked and paid in, and have to have
right.
recently worked and paid in.
Right.
If not, then we kind of fall back to the SSI program that doesn't have that same work requirement.
Can you file for both at once?
You can, and a lot of people do, and that's because the disability program initially has an exclusionary period. The first 5 months that you're disabled, they don't pay you. But SSI doesn't have that same rule.
Okay.
So sometimes you use the SSI as a stopgap while we wait to get to the disability.
All right. Should I file for this or that? What's another question?
Another question is, what conditions do we list? A lot of times people come in and they say, is it my back, or is it my psychological or cognitive decline? The answer is this: any condition that limits your ability to do basic work activities gets assigned a degree of limitation, and it counts towards your case.
Okay.
So we don't have to pick and choose. We don't have to highlight a certain condition. Anything that affects your ability to stand, walk, lift, carry, understand, remember, carry out instructions, socially interact,
Right.
any limitation creates a condition that gets considered.
That also seems like a thing that you shouldn't be making a judgment call on for yourself necessarily, like, oh, I can do that. But if you're limping constantly and it hurts, you should list it.
Yeah, you should. And the thing is sometimes we are not the best judge of the things that are limiting us.
Right.
We may be irritable and grumpy, but we don't know it. Our friends and family do, but we don't.
That's very true.
So it's important you kind of get a third-person
Okay.
perspective on
What
those
else
things.
you got?
How did the Social Security decide if we qualify for benefits?
Okay.
And so this we already kind of touched on. They take each condition, assigns limitations, decide what you can do at a maximum despite your health concerns,
Okay.
and then they compare that to what a boss would require at a minimum, and they see how that comparison looks.
Oh, so it dovetails and then you're able to make a judgment.
Yes.
But this is another thing that kind of goes back to, don't judge for yourself. You let the experts kind of determine how that works.
Yeah, that's correct. The jobs that we've done in the past may not be the way they're done in the national economy. And so Social Security is going to look at them in the way that the jobs were not only done the way you did them, but the way they're expected to be done, where you were falling short, to kind of make this comparison and decide whether or not you can meet those demands.
Okay, now, we said 5. We've done 3, right?
Yeah.
You've got others.
Doctor says that I'm disabled. Social Security didn't listen. What gives? Well, a lot of times this comes down to our medical records being inconsistent. Maybe our doctors didn't do a good job detailing our condition, listing our symptoms. Sometimes we have examination findings that don't agree or jive with what it is that the doctor has said about our condition. So you may have debilitating back pain and need a cane, but our x-ray reports may be normal. And so even though the doctor has opined that you're disabled,
Right.
it may not agree with the records, and therefore it doesn't get the traction that you'd like to get it.
Also, you may not be doing your job with telling the doctor everything.
Sure, sure. And that's the thing, we've talked about that many times.
Yeah.
Clients a lot of times tell the doctor I'm fine, and then are surprised when the doctor writes down that you're fine.
They'll believe you if you say fine.
Last
Okay.
question is, how can we help? How do we fit into this? Well, obviously we're going to file all the documents, help with the paperwork, do all the questionnaires. I also review everybody's medical records. We summarize those, and we use every opportunity that we can get to poke Social Security to try to help do their job, help explain your condition to them and how it fits with the regulations. We're an advocate.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we advocate. Go figure, right?
Yes, you don't sit back. You're kind of in people's stead. You're helping them out.
That's correct, that's correct. And if you look at some of my reviews, one of them says specifically that Roy's a bulldog, and I take a lot of pride in that. We try to push your case with Social Security and try to make sure that it gets approved.
People want to get in touch, want to be able to ask you those 5 questions. How do they do it?
They can hit the QR code there on the screen. That goes straight to a scheduling portal. You can put yourself You can put yourself directly on my calendar. You can give me a call there at the 812-6698. That's direct to my desk.
Right.
Give me a ring there. We'll set up a time, or maybe we can talk on the phone right when you call.
See, you can get your own personal bulldog, Roy Richtru, your disability rep.